Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Give me just a moment while I hit live in all the places. Let me check and make sure. Whoops, where am I at? Here we go. All right, so let me change that. All right, now give me just a moment while I pull this up on my phone. All right, here we go. All right, so let me. All right. So here we go. So thank you so much for being here this morning. And I'm going to share what brought this affirmation and journal prompt that I'm sharing this morning. There's two things. Um, One thing was this morning, I'm getting into this new swing of things where I've changed it, where I'm only going and doing a scheduled live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? And I say that like I'm going live every day. And I had anticipated that I would do that, but it seems like my day has just been filled with things from courses that I'm taking, creating things, having clients. So I haven't been, but I will be. I will be. I promise. But the thing is that this morning when I woke up, I was thinking, okay, what is today? It's Saturday. Okay, so it's Saturday, and I'm thinking, what time is my first client? And then all of a sudden, I thought, wow, I don't think I went live yesterday. Did I miss the live yesterday? And I went and looked on Facebook. Good morning, Ginger. I went and looked on Facebook and it didn't show a live yesterday. Now, I still hadn't noticed that it wasn't the right day, right? So I'm all of a sudden I'm stressing. Oh my gosh, I told them I was going to be going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so I should have been live yesterday at 9 a.m. And I mean, I was thinking, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a live and I'm going to share with them. I'm going to tell them the mistake I made and that I'm so sorry. And I was just all over the place with that, right? And then all of a sudden it hit me, wait a minute. I had my class yesterday and that was Thursday. So I even pulled out, I didn't trust that. And I even pulled out my phone, looked at the calendar to see, yes, it's Friday, not Saturday. And it was like such an odd feeling that my mind had already attached to today's Saturday, right? Oh, thank you, Ginger. I am playing with some new products and different products, not necessarily so new, to see how my curl does. So, but thank you. Um, but the weird thing is that it was such a relief to find out that it was actually Friday. But I had been in this stress place all about that, and it wasn't even true, right? And the other thing that had me thinking about this affirmation and journal prompt is that I had a hypnosis client last night. And one of the things we were talking about was she had this limiting belief that she was wanting to work on that was keeping her from having the prosperity that she wanted, because she had had some times in her life that she did really well, but some catastrophe popped in and took it all, right? Several different times. And so we took it back to, different times in her life way before those catastrophes started showing up. And there were little things as a young child that she started interpreting as, when you get something, somebody else will take it away, right? And so she had this limiting belief. And so what we did was, we were talking about memories about things. And so she shared with me her memory of these events that had taken everything. And I shared with her that, there's a thing in quantum physics where they talk about when a scientist is an observer of something, that just by the observing of it, that the things change, right? So that's why when several people see the same thing, they all have a different perspective on it. Not only is it maybe they're standing in a different place when it happens, but they have their lens of the world is skewing that event so that it is indicative of their beliefs, right? So if you believe the world is out to get you, everything that you see is going to have a little nuance of that to prove that or reinforce that within you. And we talk about a lot in here, right? About our lens of the world and how we see things, what we get from our 2,000 bits of information per second, right? It's all filtered, but our memories are too. And so a lot of times that is why, and I know this happens with my sister and myself, we're only 2 years apart, but some of the memories that we have as a kid, we have different memories about it completely. Like it's like, were we even at the same place? It's very different, but it's because of who we are and how we interpret things. So the thing that I worked on with my client last night was that we took each one of those memories one by one that she had talked about, and then we discussed what can she find in that memory as the gift in it, what it was, the lesson in it. And let's reframe that memory instead of it all about the fact that everything got taken away. Where was the gift in it? And we rephrased and redid each one of those memories. She's the one that did it. I just kind of guided her, right? And she said things felt lighter. She didn't have this anxiety about it. And so each one of these things that we were doing were kind of putting that limiting belief that she had developed and was reinforcing all the time, every single time she remembered that. And it doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but it means that she reframed it to where she didn't see it as, because of this, somebody wiped it out for me. It was a totally different story, the same events, but from a different lens. And so this morning, when this was happening with me thinking it was Saturday and getting stressed about it, it's like that was playing, my mind was playing tricks on me then too, right? So one of the things that is interesting when we're looking at memories of when we were young, and we interpret things depending on how we felt as a child. And just think about it. Every time you remember something from when you were young, you're reinforcing that and you're living it through that same 5-year-old experience. Would you let a 5-year-old rule your life? Heck no, right? But we do it every time we tap into that anxiety or whatever from a memory. And it doesn't mean, like I said, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean it wasn't stressful. It wasn't hurtful, whatever the situation was. But it's like, do you want to keep recreating, right? So that's where this affirmation and journal prompt came from this morning. So I just wanted to share. Hold on, let me pull it up for you. Hold on. And so I'll be honest, I'm very glad it is Friday, not Saturday, and that it wasn't true that I had completely neglected you guys. I guess that's, we get out of the habit of doing things a certain way. And I've been doing lives with you guys every single day. So even though it was something I chose to do, it's still a little uncomfortable because I want to make sure I'm still taking care of you guys and being here for you, right? All right, so our affirmation for today is, my mind is my ally. I choose thoughts that support my dreams, and I train my brain to believe in what's possible even before it's real. You're too funny, Ginger. Let me see what's going on over here. All right, so as you can see, like this morning, my brain was changing the the day in my mind. It was creating this stress, this thing that was happening within me because it was choosing to tell a story that wasn't true, right? Aw, thank you. Did I do my heart right? No. What am I? There we go. It's like, how in the hell do I do it? So, but we can train our brain to support us instead of kind of putting us into this state of anxiety over something that is totally untrue, right? And so it's important for us to be reminded that our mind can be our ally, right? If we choose thoughts that support our dreams, and we actually train our brain to believe in what's possible even before it's real. Because that's one of the things that's really important to remember too. Excuse me, let me take a sip of my coffee. It's important to remember that, there have been times in history that people have created amazing things without the action. Hold on. My allergies. Hold on. All right. As I was putting footprints in the pollen this morning when I was walking the dogs, I thought, I love this time of year. And I looked down at the pollen and said, okay, well, maybe my sinuses don't, but I'm good, right? So it's just a little tickle. I'll be fine. So anyway, the things that I'm referring to is like there have been people that were prisoner of war. And I know, and I can't remember who it was. I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of knowledge and I can't always track it back to exactly who said it or who did it or the book it came from or whatever. But believe me, or not, it's okay. But there was a prisoner of war that the thing that he did to survive was what he did to survive was in his mind every day. He was a golfer when he got captured, right? And he loved to play golf. So in his mind, every single day, he played golf in his mind. And to the extent of he imagined the golf clubs, he imagined the course he was at, he imagined pulling out the clubs. It was his ritual of disconnecting from the horror that was going on around him, right? It just gave him this feeling of normalcy, right? And so he did that every single day. And the interesting thing was, I get you, Ginger. At least I can hold them up, right? But I love your virtual hands. But the thing that was interesting was once he was rescued, the first time he played golf, his golf score had improved dramatically because him spending that time every single day playing golf in his mind helped his game just the same way as if he had been practicing with the club on the course every day. And the thing is that our mind, our brain doesn't really decipher when we're imagining something in great detail, whether it's actually happening for true, for real, or if it's an imagined thing. And so we can spend time imagining our brain supporting us, our thoughts supporting us, even before it's real. And the more we do that, the more real it will be, right? And so you can train your brain to believe in what's possible, to believe that that is a fact. And the more times you train your brain to believe that what is in your mind is the truth, is a fact, the more results you will get, because we're usually doing it the opposite way. Most of the time, we're still training our brain all the time. Every day, we're training our brain. We're training our brain, whether it's that we keep our word to ourselves or whether we are going down the rabbit hole of despair. And because every time you have this imaginary experience, because we do it to ourselves a lot, right? And I've referred to it before about going to a luncheon and constantly knowing every time that I was driving toward this lunch event that the one person that was playing was going to be there, that always seemed to say exactly what would get under my skin. And I'm usually pretty easygoing, but this person knew the trigger to say every single time. Hey, you never know, Ginger. Your body, your mind doesn't realize that your muscles don't work. So maybe it would be good to try it, right? So when I would go to this luncheon, on my way there, I would rehearse the whole story about how this person would say something and I'd get aggravated, and then she'd say this and I'd get aggravated, and I'd try to hold it in and not show that I was aggravated. I rehearsed it all the time, right? And and then one day I thought about it and I thought, wait a minute, if I believe all these things that I teach, why would I be rehearsing the way I don't want it to go? So that day, I determined that I was going to play a game of rehearsing my story the way I wanted it to go. How do I want that event to pan out? How do I want to feel during it? So that time, I rehearsed all the way there how it was going to go, how when I got there, where people would be standing, and when I'd get out of the car, that she would walk over and say, "Hey, it's good to see you." We would have a conversation. We'd even sit close to each other and chat. And when I would go to leave, she would give me a hug and say, "I was so glad you were here today. This was great." And lo and behold, that's how it panned out. Not word for word, but oh my gosh, it was the same feeling. We even sat close to each other, actually beside each other, and we had a very pleasant day. And so that was so eye-opening for me to see it in action, that I had been rehearsing over and over and over again how I didn't want it to go, and that's how it went. And when I rehearsed how I wanted it to go, different story completely, right? And so we find that in our lives, that we can train our brain to believe in what's possible, even before it's real. And then it is real, because it is. All the things that we're constantly doing in our heads, we're actually emitting a frequency that draws it to us. Just like that prisoner of war practiced his golf in his mind every single day. And it's not like he just sat back and said, "Okay, I'm playing golf and this is my score." No, he wanted to remove himself from the environment he was in. So he stepped in his imagination. He stepped in to arriving at the golf course, to taking his clubs out. I mean, when you're doing this, you want to be as detailed as possible, even to the extent of what's the weather like? What do you hear? What do you feel? I mean, is the temperature warm? You want to be as detailed as possible. And you do that every single day. Now, are you going to see a difference the first day? No. Is it going to be the first week? I don't know. The thing is, it depends on you, but you have the power to create so much in your world with your imagination, with your mind. So, Ginger, do that every single day and let's see how things go. I would say give it 30 days of really immersing yourself in that story. So it would be, you've got to maybe put on a sleep mask and just tune out the whole world and just sit and imagine. Yeah, like people that get up thinking they're going to feel bad for work. Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right. So because your mind can play tricks on you, but you hold the power to rewrite the script. So let's use that to our advantage. right? If we can rewrite the script, like I said, the client that I worked with yesterday, when she was telling me these stories about how things had panned out in her life, you could just see it in her face. It was so heartbreaking, right? Because there were several times that she was on top of the world and then somebody swooped in and took it all. And so she just had this feeling, right? Well, after we reframed every single one of those stories, and we didn't say that never happened, we just reframed what it meant, what it created in her life. We changed all of that. She changed all of that. And then by the time we were finished, and then we did a hypnosis to kind of help really get that in there, right? And the thing that happened was, as she was talking about this new scenario and each one of these experiences, her color in her face changed. She started sitting up straighter. She was smiling. And like I said, we didn't say it didn't happen, that she didn't lose everything, but we changed what it meant. What was the effect of it? We changed how that felt in her body, in her mind. And very different experience. And I even said, how do you feel now? She said, lighter, happier. I feel like everything's possible. So you can do this. I promise you. If you need help with it, reach out and I can help you. I promise. All right. So let me take this off. I think this one might be a little long. I should have been a little shorter, but let's see. Yep, some of it doesn't show, but I will put it in the comments for you. All right. All right, so our journal prompt is, if my mind is already telling me stories, why not tell stories that serve me, right? Why not? Yeah? What empowering belief can I choose today that supports my dream, even if it feels just out of reach? And that's the beauty of doing this, right? Because we all, if we're, especially as entrepreneurs, we all have something that feels like it's just right outside of our reach. We just can't seem to get it, right? It's like we can see it there, but we can't grab it. And entrepreneurs are that way all the time because we're always moving and doing something with our business, right? So what empowering belief can I choose today that supports my dream, even if it feels just out of reach? How can I intentionally trick my mind into acting like it's already happening? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do this differently. Hold on. Let's do it this way. We don't really need that first part. So hold on. So we're going to do it this way, and let's see if it all shows. Okay, this way it all shows up. There we go. Because we don't really need the very first of it because we know our mind is already telling us stories, right? So the journal prompt. What empowering belief can I choose today that supports my dreams, even if it feels just out of reach? And then how can I intentionally trick my mind into acting like it's already happening? What can you do, right? So like I say, let me go back to our affirmation really quick. Our affirmation, my mind is my ally. I choose thoughts that support my dreams, and I train my brain to believe in what's possible even before it's real. Put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it somewhere that you're going to see it today. So the reason I think it's really cool to put it as your screensaver on your phone is because how many times do you pick up your phone, right? Now, you may not have enough room to put all of that, but even if you only put, my mind is my ally, that in itself will your brain today, right? Because you will be reminded that means that you choose thoughts that support your dreams and you train your brain to believe in what's possible, even before it's real. So, however it works best for you, but your screensaver on your phone is beautiful. Now, one of the things sometimes I'll do is I'll take a piece of paper and I'll write it and I'll stick it somewhere that I know I can see it. Sometimes I put it on my mirror with a chalk marker because I want to know everywhere I'm at that I'm reminded, right? And so that's why the screensaver is a great, great idea. So just think about it. How can you support yourself even more with this affirmation, right? And then the journal prompt. And what I always say is get out your journal, your notebook. My mind is my ally. Yes, you got that, Ginger. You got it. So get out your journal, your notebook, put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt. Now, I really feel like now that I'm looking at this, because I was doing it right before I got on here, which is typical, but for some reason this morning, I wish I had added a little extra thing to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and share that with you. So when you do your write your affirmation in your journal prompt, then you're going to say it out loud. But I want you to add one thing to it. And I'm going to have to write this down so I remember to add it to the journal prompt. Okay, so I just thought it. What empowering belief can I choose today that supports my dreams, even if it feels just out of reach? And how can I intentionally trick my mind into acting like it's already happening? List 3 things all right, I got to think on that a minute because it was in my mind and then I talked about it and it went away. All right, so what empowering belief can I choose today that supports my dreams, even if it feels just out of reach? So maybe there's more than one, right? So when you say this out loud to yourself and you say it with emotion, so you want to be, it's just like you're creating this story with emotion, right? You want to do the journal prompts and the affirmation with emotion as well, right? So what new empowering belief can I choose today that supports my dream, even if it feels just out of reach? Then you just brain dump as much as possible. Now, remember, I always recommend that before you start writing, you set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes and you just sit in silence. So if you decide to do it this way, Ginger, you would just put on your sleep mask, set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes as you're just concentrating on your breath, because you want to separate yourself from the space that you're in so that you can actually tap into your inner guidance and your God voice at a deeper level, right? And then once the timer goes off 10, 15 minutes, and you don't have to rehearse the journal prompt. You don't have to do that at all. Your subconscious mind knows. But when you start, and I know with you, Ginger, you might not be writing it out. You may be doing a voice note. But when you do that, just ask yourself, oh, what new empowering belief can I choose? Or what empowering belief can I choose today that supports my dream, even if it feels just out of reach? And just whatever comes up, don't critique it, don't judge it, it's like the first words that come out of your mind, put them down. It doesn't matter. And it may make no sense whatsoever. And that's perfect, right? Because sometimes our subconscious mind is speaking almost a different language. Our inner guidance is speaking a different language and we don't understand it. And so we might have to just write these things down or list these things in a verbal note and then look at them and say, what does this mean? How is this valuable to me? And then by seeing it, you can decipher, this is what it means. This is some inner thing that's coming up that I'm not even aware of. And it's a beautiful thing, right? And then how can I intentionally trick my mind into acting like it's already happening? Now, we already know the answer to that, right? The how we do it is we rehearse it. We spend time telling our story to ourselves. You can just envision it like it's a dream and just really immerse yourself in it. Like I said, look at, where are you? What are you doing? Who's around you? What's the weather like? What's the, is the wind, if you're outside or are you inside? Is the wind blowing? Is there trees blooming? Are there leaves? You just want to give it as much detail as possible. And just to spend some time believing and dreaming that, as you know how when you are in a dream at night, right? And it doesn't matter how crazy it is, you feel like that's happening to you, right? But when you wake up, it's like, oh, wow, I had this weird dream. I had one last night. It was like, what? But the thing is that you want to feel almost the same way in this imaginary experience. Like you can't tell it's not real. Just really dive in as deep as you can with the imagining, right? So for you, Ginger, you were talking about imagining a workout. And it's been a while since you were able to work out. So it'll be a little bit more of an exercise of your mind to remember how it feels when you're doing the workout, and how sometimes you're sweaty and you may be feeling like when you're doing certain exercises, especially with your legs or your arms, it's like, oh my gosh, they're feeling so tired. Feel all of that. Feel it as deep as you can, and just spend your time just really tapping into every nuance of it that you can imagine. And the thing is, the first time you do it, you're going to miss a few things. But the next time you do it, there's going to be something else that's going to come up, and you're going to say, wait a minute, I think I would be feeling this. Maybe I would be saying that, right? And I remember one of the times I used to do the what is it called? All of a sudden, the biking thing, the cycle thing at the gym, right? And oh my gosh, part of the way through, I would have to remind myself, breathe, because I would end up focusing so hard on the strain of the biking and being all this uncomfortable stuff that I would hold my breath, and it would give me a headache. So I would have to remind myself, make sure you're breathing, make sure you're breathing. So do all that stuff, that helps you, that you would have done in the moment of doing the workout, right? And then there were times I had to remind myself, the fact that I'm sweating so bad just means my fat's crying. It was like, so, and I know it's going to be a little bit more of a stretch with you, Ginger, because it's been a while. But I would love to be able to hear how you do this. One of the things that you could do that would be really fun is maybe when you play with this thought and you are doing this exercise, is get your phone out and do a voice note and tell the story of how it feels, what you're doing. And then you could actually add to that story from time to time. And you could even listen to your story instead of having to reimagine it every time. So if you want me to help you with that, Ginger, I'll be happy to help you with that. We could do, once you get it created, could do a little bit of a hypnosis recording with it. So you just let me know what you want to do with it. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see how that works for you. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So I am I'm a little over time. I've got a client coming in. So you have an amazing day. And it does sound fun, doesn't it? It does. So the thing is that I want you to spend time today recreating your story, recreating, choosing an empowering story. So I guess for today, be empowered. And I will see you on Monday. Mwah.